Welcome to Talk About Topeka. My name's Chris Schultz. On this episode, we're going to speak with a true theater diva. Miss Karen Hastings with Arts Inc. is here to tell us all about theater in Topeka and a show that she's working on down at the Break Room. That show happens to be one of our sponsors, The Kitchen Witches at the Break Room. You can get your tickets at breakroomdowntown.com. This episode's also brought to you by the WIBW channels, and it starts right now. So we're here with another living legend in theater and performing arts here in Topeka. Honey, you're not dead yet, so here we are. It's Karen Hastings.
I could have sworn I wasn't here
Thank you so much for coming.
Chris,
it's the obligatory handshake, of course.
Okay, okay. That's great.
Thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much for asking.
And I say you're a living legend in theater. Tell us, how did you, at the very root of it, get into performing?
My family were all singers and violinists and pianists and all kinds of different musical people, and loved theater. I mean, the love of theater is something that was really stressed in my family, and it just seemed so natural, you know, though I don't have anybody else. There's nobody I can name in my family who went into theater. No one was that silly, just me.
They just had a good respect for it.
They just had a wonderful respect for it. Yeah. They loved it.
along the path, what are some of the highlights, some of the things that you've done?
I got to work with John Houseman, who was the founder of the Juilliard School and the producer of the movie Citizen Kane.
Wow.
Now that just I was so thrilled to be able to work with him. I got to do a Shakespearean play with him. And
was that before or after he did Citizen Kane?
Chris, I'm still going to stay on this show. You can't.
Did you meet Orson Welles? That's what we want to know, right?
No, but you know that when I was an apprentice at Missouri Rep, I worked with some people who worked with Orson Welles in the Mercury Theater. Now you have some idea of how old I really am.
I'm keeping track. I already figured it out.
Yeah, they were in the Mercury Theater. One of them's name was Sidney Cartwright. Wow. And he used to answer the phone by saying, "This is Sidney by the pool." Yeah, I don't know whether he was always by the pool.
I think I'm going to change my voicemail to say that right now.
This is Sidney by the pool. I love that. I just love that. I always wanted to say I'm Sidney by the pool. But
you can say whatever you want.
My name is not Sidney.
So let's kind of get into Topeka. How did you end up in Topeka?
Well,
we all ask ourselves that question daily.
I love Topeka. I have to say that. Okay, now I say, no, I was born here.
You were born here. Okay. Okay.
And so this was a return home for me.
You've told me some things in the past about the history of Topeka and the performance in the USO show you guys did. There was a little bit of that. There's some really amazing things for the folks who didn't see that show. Tell us a little bit about Topeka's rich history.
Topeka was a vaudeville stop, and it was also a stock company stop. And so there were many. Sarah Bernhardt played here. Oscar Wilde lectured here. And the story goes that Bud Abbott and Lou Costello met on the vaudeville circuit here in Topeka. George Burns's favorite theater to play was the Jayhawk Theater because it was air-cooled.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of talk coming back about the Jayhawk Theater. I mean, a lot of people getting involved. I know just recently there were some volunteers in there cleaning out, moving things around. They've got their Take a Seat campaign going on right now. There's really been a huge push to get the Jayhawk Theater restored.
Oh, I hope that happens because it is a treasure. It really is.
Just the people. If you think about who performed on that stage alone, I mean, there were so many other theaters in Topeka, and they're all parking lots or office buildings right now. But that building is there.
It's there, and we need to keep it. We really do. It needs to be preserved for lots of reasons. I mean, for the history and because it is a vaudeville theater. I mean, it's a true vaudeville theater, which means there's horsehair in those walls somewhere.
Wow.
I mean, that was the acoustic material that they used in the walls of those theaters to produce the kinds of sounds that they did. You're not a true actor if you have to have a microphone. Sorry. Get over it. Get off the stage. Go home.
Well, it's true. It's true.
No, it's true.
They didn't have them then. I mean, it was. I mean, Ethel Merman, she's powerful. She wasn't the prettiest songbird. I mean, she was loud.
Yeah, she was. She was.
And she had character,
Yeah,
so,
and I know in some theaters they do have to use microphones now, but I mean, that's the point I'm really trying to make, is that theater was built to be a theater. And it was built explicitly for the kind of performance that they engaged in. So to tear it down and lose it, we don't need another parking lot in Topeka.
Well, there is that rich history
There really
with theater
is.
in Topeka, and that's an opportunity we have to be able to preserve a little bit of that. Just even the magic of walking in and feeling that in the building as it's empty right now.
Right.
I mean, you can hear that horsehair in the walls when you stand in there and speak.
I mean, if you are sensitive to things like that, and many people, including yourself, I know you are, and just to walk in there, you sense what's gone on there, the kinds of still laughter there.
So, as far as our history in Topeka goes, we're making some history right now in Topeka. We've got some theater in downtown Topeka at the Break Room that you're working on a show with.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about Kitchen Witches from your perspective.
Well, Carol Reese is a dear friend, and I know she's listening to this.
She better be. She's sitting in the room. She was just on the show, so.
I learned to know Carol because Carol is a risk taker.
Yeah.
And she also has a philosophy of theater that I have. And that is that no theater is really separate from any other theater. Theater's theater. And because she extended that kind of love and warmth to me, it was very easy then for me to feel very comfortable extending that back to her. And we became very close friends. And she came to me with this script and said, I think you really need to do this part. And I read it and could see why, and didn't want to do it with anybody but Carol. She said, Carol and I I think we make wonderful foils for each other, because we bounce off each other in life. And
That's what it takes.
Yeah, it really does. And so it becomes really easy and fun. We just, it's natural.
Watching the rehearsals up till this point has just been a treat because you guys play off of each other so well.
Oh, thank you, Chris.
And this is through Arts Inc. and the Break Room have kind of put this together.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about Arts Inc.
Arts Inc. started out as a company called Apple Tree Productions, and Bev Gunderman and I founded it together. It's a 501c3. It's a company that originally addressed all kinds of social and cultural issues for various institutions, associations, churches, schools, and we would create scripts pertaining to any issue that they had and then have some kind of expert with us who could conduct conversation about it after. And then Bev kind of wanted to retire to, do some other things. And I didn't want to do that by myself. And so this morphed into Arts Inc., which is probably ultimately closer to my love for theater anyway, because I'd rather do the kind of performing that we do in Arts Inc. than the other. Though I love both, I like what we do now.
Well, and working with the Break Room, it's a very intimate venue if you haven't ever been there. And you're right up there. And the thing that I think is really great, and I'm speaking obviously because I'm the owner of the Break Room, and why wouldn't I say this? But my thing is, I know it's kind of reminiscent of the old warehouse that Topeka Civic Theater was in, because it's very intimate. You're right up close on top of everyone. And if you really think about it, a lot of times when you have a dinner or a theater, or you put these things together and you're making a night out, you're usually a lot stronger on one side than you are on the other, whether it's the food or the entertainment or whatever. If you're at a restaurant, maybe they're going to have food and you're going to have a little light entertainment that comes out to entertain you, or you're going to have a theater where it's got a beautiful production and then the food is kind of the sideline to that. But what's really great is that we get to work with Arts Inc., we get to work with you on this production, and we get to have Chef Michelle, who gets to have the same kind of passion about performing that you have. She has that for food. So to kind of mingle those together and have a night out on the town that only 40 people get to see, it is really a fun evening out. And I'm not saying that just because I'm the owner of the place. I'm saying it because if I wasn't the owner, this is exactly the kind of experience I would want to see and be a part of.
And so that's what you've created.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So if you were going to look into the camera and give those people a push for why they should come and see you on stage at the Kitchen Witches, what would it be?
Well, I think because I truly love it, and I truly love the people I'm working with, and that includes you guys. I'm serious. It's so important to have the whole area that you're working in be so conducive to creativity. You know, when you're supported, you can do so much more. So it's fun, and it's a delightful experience, and that's why I think you should come, because it's fun.
I think that's a perfect answer and a reason for why you should go see the Kitchen Witches, which is running through August at the Break Room. You can check out tickets and get them at breakroomdowntown.com. So thank you so much. I can't let you leave, Karen, until we do our lightning round. That means I have a bunch of silly questions. I'm going to ask those of you, and you just throw out silly answers, and I'm sure you'll be fine at that.
I'm good
Absolutely.
At that. I'm good at silly answers.
Let's see, what's your favorite tourist attraction in Topeka?
The Capitol Building.
Oh, good.
Because my mother's picture's in it.
Your mother doesn't look like John Brown, does she?
No. No, my mother looks like the woman in the covered wagon, and David Overmyer used her as a model.
I'm going to go check that out. That's cool. Very cool.
That's my mommy.
Yeah. You learn something new every day, I'll tell you. All right. If you were a salad, what kind of dressing would you have?
Balsamic.
Interesting. I like that.
I don't know why.
Well, this is a good one. If you won $20 million in the lottery, what would you do with the money? After you gave me a whole chunk.
Breathe a huge sigh of relief. Start breathing again, pay off the mortgage.
There you go.
Know, and then make really important decisions.
And of course, I can't let you go without saying this. What was your favorite television show to watch every Tuesday night at 9:30 on MyTV?
It's Talk About Topeka.
Yay, there we go. Well, Karen, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.
It's a treat working with you, and I hope you get out to see Kitchen Witches at the Break Room with Karen and Carol. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of TalkAboutTopeka.com. I'm Chris Schultz. If you liked what you saw today, please help our guests spread their message by sharing our videos with your friends. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. This episode of Talk About Topeka was brought to you by the WIBW channels and Field of Greens, a garden bistro in downtown Topeka. Topeka's #1 salad bar, according to me. Thanks for joining us. Remember, keep talking about Topeka.